We welcome you in here on KSM Productions to our first ever varsity hockey broadcast. It is the Baldwinsville Bees in their home opener taking on CNY Fusion. I'm Killian Heffron here, joined alongside by my color commentator and camera operator, Brian Heffron. Brian, going to be an interesting season here for Section 3. Section seems wide open for a lot of teams to take advantage of. And, I mean, both these teams here definitely have a shot.
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, it's been 8 long months since Section 3 crowned its champions in Division 1 and Division 2, and I can tell you that these teams are pumped to get back on the ice and do it again. Just like always, Section 3 is always a tight-knit group. It always comes down to the wire. I expect no different this year, and these two teams are going to be something to watch here as the season progresses. So excited to be here.
Well, we'll start out here by looking at a quote from Coach Lloyd of Baldwinsville. He says that his expectations this year are quite high. They got some decent depth and some very talented players. They've been very receptive to coaching and are working hard. That was from head coach Lloyd.
41 years, Killian. 41 years that Coach Lloyd has been behind the bench for the Baldwinsville Bees. Think about just the amount of change that this man has seen over his time here at the rink. So what a great opportunity here for these boys from Baldwinsville to give this coach an opportunity for another great season. So, but 41 years, got to give kudos to the coach for that.
Well, we'll now do our little spotlight of the game. And our spotlight's going to be on Zach Bice, the Baldwinsville goaltender, number 30. He is a senior. Last season stats: 14 games played, 286 saves, a 2.86 goals against average, and a .877 save percentage.
Yeah, Bice gets the call today for the Bees. It's going to be really interesting to watch how he comes out here. Keep in mind that the Bees have had 2 scrimmages versus the Fusion, who have come out and had 3 scrimmages at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how goaltenders on both teams respond. But Bice, a sort of dual sport threat. Not only is he a hockey player, but he also is a phenomenal lacrosse player. Just saw this the other day that he had already committed, I believe, to St. John's Fisher. So pretty cool stuff happening in that young man's life. Cool to get the nod here for the Bees on opening day.
Well, teams will now go through their starting lineups, and then we will have the national anthem here. We will take a break for a moment here on KSM Productions. Do not go anywhere. We will be back in a moment.
this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your caps and join us in honoring the United States of America with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
With that, we are just about ready to get set here. These two teams will have their final meetings at their nets. Baldwinsville wearing their home white today, and Fusion in their away red.
So one of the things that we're going to want to look for here is how the CNY Fusion responds to an off-season where they lost a few of their top scorers from last year. In fact, looks like their top 3 points sort of leaders from the team are not returning this year because of graduation. The other thing, though, that we noticed just here during pregame is we got a couple of injuries for the Fusion as well. I know they took an injury last night in one of the scrimmages that they did. I know that we also have Kata McQuaid, who's not going to be dressing for today's game due to injury. So the Fusion already sort of facing a little bit of an uphill battle, have got some injuries that they're going to have to work through as well. So should be interesting to see how this responds. I'm looking for an action-packed first period.
Opening draw taken, we're underway here in Baldwinsville. This is passed up and brought into the offensive zone. Bees take first possession, bounces off the wall. Behind the net, that's played and will be chipped back up the wall, where it's taken again by the IB. Center to the middle, nothing going there. And it'll be backhanded up and almost out of the zone. Was a good check there, kept that from occurring. And here comes Fusion the other way into the offensive end. Colton Boyzik had that one and had it taken away there by Dom Dorito.
Yeah,
Now
good. I was just going to say, Dorito stepping in there with the stick, making sure that the play doesn't get anywhere beyond that blue line.
curving around behind the net now. But great in the middle, he shoots and he scores! And it doesn't take long. Alessio McGrain, 1-0 Baldwinsville here, only 41 seconds in.
Well, McGrain, so top scorer from last year, ends up with 20 points. He had 10 goals, 10 assists. Just takes under what here? Just a less than a minute for him to be able to get in and get his first score of the season. 1-0 Bees.
On our first shot on goal of the game, it is 1-0. That puck flew up to the ceiling, and now it's brought back and played into the offensive zone. McGrain gets the goal, his first of the season. Obviously, as it's the first game these two have played. This will go sent down for an icing. So with 16:02 left to play in the first period, this will come back.
Dorito with the assist there. He's already had some great defensive plays and already gets the assist. Seems like that young man came out to play today.
Face-off is one, got blocked on the way in by somebody in there. Comes up to the point, fired in by Crowley. Played around on the wall. It's picked up at the point now by the Bees. They chip it down low. Joe Toland on that one, tried to make a play on it. McCollum came in to help, but it is fired up and almost out of the zone. It's now picked up by Fusion, but they were unable to get it out. Moving on in from the side, shooting one, save Bice, or not, excuse me, Bice, Bertrand comes out behind the net again, making a play into the middle, save made, rebound is still loose, and then a couple of big saves there. And now another opportunity in front, and another save by Bertrand.
Well, the Bees are getting space in front of the net. They're getting people in front of that net. They're not getting pushed out, so Fusion are going to have to find a way to kind of use their defensive muscle to get some space between the goalie and those forwards. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night.
Ryland McCollum there had a couple of shots at it. None of them able to go through. Picked up down low, chipped up and nearly out of the zone. It comes up and will be played at the point now by Bennett Mattoon. Mattoon dumps it in deep, battling for it down low, and it's sent up the wall.
Looked like they thought there was a whistle, but there wasn't. Referee's shaking his head saying, I didn't blow anything, guys.
That's chipped to the middle, and it was losing from, but it comes back to the point now. Shot comes in, deflects, save made by Bertrand. Another try, another save, they score! And the Baldwinsville jumps out to an early 2-0 lead.
Well, we were just talking about it, getting people in front of the net and having a hard time being able to clear anybody out. They just got 2 or 3 forwards just circling back there. Every time that puck goes behind the net, it's almost like sharks circling in blood. They're just waiting for an opportunity for that puck to get in front so they can just hammer it in.
To Andrew Hawkinson, who will pick that one up. And we will resume. So 2-0 Baldwinsville early on in this game.
Second goal scored at 14:52 in the first period was scored by number 4, Andrew Hawkinson.
Hawkinson credited with the goal.
Number 13, Owen Hawthorne.
And Owen Hawthorne will get the credit with the assist. Baldwinsville, early production. Good sign for them here for this game. Shot comes from the side, deflected, and it hit a body in front, comes out the other way. Fusion will take it up forward. Chipped up, trying to dump that one back in was Don Pertel. One of the 4 captains, he'll lay a hit there. I believe that was on Jeffrey Stevens. Brought into the other end, Rocco Weaver from the side. Weaver weaves to the middle, tries a wraparound, loose in front, and Bertrand will smother it, and we get some extra pushing afterwards.
And they're going to bring it back here. Are they calling? Yep, looks like they're calling a penalty.
And yeah, so we'll get a power play here for Baldwinsville. It'll be number 11 to the box for Fusion, and that is Gavin Windhausen.
Well, Windhouse was trying to, once again, be aggressive to try to sort of, that puck was still dancing around. Bertrand didn't have his glove on it yet, but just a little too aggressive move. Ends up in the penalty box here. Puts the Bees ahead with an extra man.
Early power play for the Bees, already up by 2. Have an opportunity to really get a lot going in this game here. Comes up to the point, dumped back in, and it'll be fired up and played around by Crowley. Crowley's pass got deflected, and it will be taken now down low by the Bees, trying to bring it out. That was Rocco Weaver. Weaver still with it, will hold on his own end. Trying to find some space. Walks to the side, chips it up, and it'll be brought forward into the offensive end. Played now, moving around behind the net are the Bees, trying to find an option. Haven't really been able to find anywhere to move the puck so far in this power play. Sent down low from the side, fed to the middle, it's loose in front, save Bertrand, and the rebound is kicked out. And will make its way out of the zone. 9th shot on goal of the game here, 1:01 remaining in the penalty. Comes up, pass completed to McCollum. McCollum steps into the offensive zone. Battling for it down low, it's picked up. Toland made the pass up to McFeeters, up to the point, back to McFeeters. On the side, chips it over, opportunity. They'll let it go back up to the point now.
Good control here by the Bees.
Around.
Good control as they're moving this puck right to left, spreading out the Fusion.
Good power play early here from Baldwinsville, and this one will go down the ice. And so Bees will get some reinforcements. It's Dylan Breen down low. Makes the pass up, and it's brought forward by Baldwinsville. Into the neutral zone. Chipped up, that was intended for Daniel Hinman, but it got blocked by a Fusion player on the way in. Fusion, no shots on goal so far in this one. They trail 2-0. Baldwinsville, 2 early goals from Andrew Hawkinson and Alessio McGrain. Bradford down low, penalty has expired. It's brought around McGrain's pass. Over to Dorito. Was received. It's played around behind the net. Up to the point. Passed over. Shot comes in, and that one sails over the net. Comes back up to Mattoon. Mattoon fires that, got blocked, and it gets chipped out of the zone. Right back to Mattoon. Mattoon makes the pass up. Baldwinsville will tag up, and it will be Fusion who now has to get this one back out of their own end. Good forecheck by the Beast to stay on this. It's Hinman making a play on it, but it comes back out of the zone. Oh, big hit on the wall. That was Nick Sands that got knocked down. Now from the side shot there, and that one will be gloved and held.
Yeah, timely hit there. You know what I mean? When you get a hit like that, it's able to create immediately a sort of a turnover. You got a forward flying up the ice for a nice pass. Before you knew it, you had a sort of an open shot there. So good movement by the Bees to use their physicality to get the open shot.
And that pass goes awry. Now it's a foot race to the puck. And they were able to get to that. It was Don Pertel. And now it's brought into the offensive zone for Baldwinsville. A couple shot attempts there. Both were fanned on by Andrew Hawkinson, one of our goal scorers today. Played down low, gets chipped off the back of the goal. Trying to make a play, and it now was one of the Bees. It comes up to the point, gets fired around the side. Just over 6 minutes going by in the first period. 2-0 Baldwinsville. Shot comes in, that goes wide. It leads back under Bertrand, and will trap it there.
Yeah, that puck sort of hit the back of the board there, came back and sort of snuck underneath Bertrand's sort of his glove on the side, his pad on the ground. So one of those situations where once again they're just crowding in front of him, hoping to get a bounce out that they can just tap in for the third goal of the game.
Face-off once, battled for down low by Toland, gave it up to Crowley, or excuse me, not Crowley, McFeeters. McFeeters makes a move that gets poked up. Now from the point, shot comes in, and that is stopped by Bertrand. He'll hold.
Yeah, good track by Bertrand there. That was a quick release by the defender.
So Baldwinsville team with a lot of potential this season. Wide open Division I, Section 3, as West Jenny seems to be weaker than they have been the last few years, looking for somebody to finally take them down. It would be the first time since 2020 that somebody other than West Genesee had been sectional champions. That title went to Syracuse Cougars back in 2020. Jenny's dominated the section ever since. Battered for along the wall. Gets chipped up to the point now, making a move on it. Shot comes in, and that hit somebody in front. I think it went off one of the Bees as one of them went down there grimacing in pain. Played around from the side. Shot comes in, and that one flies through the crease. Nothing there, and it will make its way out of the zone. Don Pertel picks it up and fires it in. Bees will check up. And let's see what Fusion can do. Alex White made a play on that, but it gets forced around. Dorito on it. It went over to Crowley. Crowley still with it. Waits for reinforcements. Now we'll find Rocco Weaver, who shot sails high and wide. Crowley able to brace for the hit and will protect the puck nicely. They'll carry this one around the neutral zone through the circle. Crowley into the offensive zone, makes a step, turning, and that pass is going to be received, but it will make its way on net and be held by Bertrand, who's faced now 12 shots on goal in this first period. That was Daniel Hinman there who received that pass and was swarmed by a massive Fusion. Shot comes in by Hinman. That one is also stopped.
Quick shots off the face-off. One of the things I think that we're trying to see here is they're really trying to test this goaltender early, get as many shots on him as possible.
9:18 left to go here in this first period of play. Battled around for on the boards. It's picked up, and here come the Bees out of the zone, moving into the, or excuse me, not the Bees. Fusion moves into the offensive end. First time we've really seen them down there this game. Comes around, played somewhere there on the wall. Now it'll be intercepted by the Bees, and it gets dumped back down. Breen makes the pass up. Long flipper up to the middle, intended for Hinman, but miscommunication between him and Dorito will force them to retreat and give Fusion possession back, but quickly will be regained by Baldwinsville. Taking it around is Gavin Winhausen. Winhausen with the singular penalty on the day, which was a cross-check early here in the first period. Chipped around onto that. There's Dorito who lands a hit. Played around from the side. And it'll be brought out the other way. And before being once again picked up by the Bees. They really have not allowed much of anything from Fusion, and that shot comes in on Bertrand, and that's easily played aside. Collision there in the middle of the ice. That one's sent on to Bertrand. He pads that one away. Baldwinsville, plenty of shots on goal early in this one.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing.
And including this one, is it scramble for it, and we get a whistle as the official lost sight of the puck. And it looks like the net popped off. That might have been what prompted the whistle from the official.
Well, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing these individual battles being won by the Bees, right? So every time the puck comes down and they got a one-on-one situation, the Bees are just sort of using more physicality, more speed to get to the puck, keeping control of the puck down in the offensive zone.
Yeah, we haven't really had much of that from Fusion, and in the times that they've had the puck so far, just not much has gone their way. Battle for it, they try to bring it up. It's going to be picked up now by Hawthorne, but we get a whistle offside.
So last season, the Bees came out of the gate. They had their first game of the year was postponed, and then they lost their first two. They lost to a West Jenny squad that was pretty big, and then there was another loss that they had. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think one of the things that they talked about this year is coming out strong, not going down 0-2 in the year. And this is sort of one of the things that they're looking for a big win here at Three Rivers Ice Complex today.
Yeah, that loss you were talking about was a 5-0 loss to FM.
Yep.
As this one is hit on the wall. All shot there got blocked in. It comes out the other way, but the Bees pick it off. Here's Pertel, who fires this one around the boards. And the Bees continuing to use physicality, just not let Fusion get much of anything. Breaking on in, an opportunity, and a wraparound try, nothing going there. That was Rylan McCollum who tried the wraparound and was met with a check from a couple of defenders.
Yeah, good ability to sort of track that puck by the goaltender. Wasn't going to let him come in on that left side. He had to go try the wraparound there, and by that time his defensive teammates had made it down to help out. But
that one deflects off a Weaver and makes its way out of the zone. It'll be picked up now by A.J. McFeeters. McFeeters looking up to McCollum. McCollum breaks in from the side. McCollum shooting one, save Bertrand. And that got knocked off slightly. And the officials will deem it's not that significant. We'll let things play on. Maybe trying to get down onto right it themselves. Played around the wall. A bunch of people on that one. And now it comes out and will be played by McFeeters. McFeeters backhands it. And that one went to Anderson Beck, but he just had no options there. Comes out the other way. Here comes Fusion into the offensive end. And it'll be dumped around on that low. Big hit there. That was number 23, Dylan Breen, stepping into that one. And we get a whistle as this one will be covered by Bice. First shot he's faced all game.
yeah, we talked about, the importance of Bice coming out and having a strong start. There hasn't been really much to do, honestly. You know what I mean? There hasn't been really much offensive pressure going on, but it would be interesting to see if they were able to sort of squeeze in and get some more shots on him, how he reacts to that.
Yeah, and we were talking about the physicality earlier in this game, but this comes out opportunity there for Fusion, but nothing going, and as it comes out the other way, Crowley into the offensive end. Will stop, survey his options. Crowley's still looking.
Oh.
Now we'll slide that one intended for Beck. It comes out, shot, and that one also got stopped. Played around behind the net, and it gets chipped through. Trying to hit that one was Maverick Lemon, but it will make its way down the ice for an icing. 5:33 left to go, 2-0 our score. Shots on goal, 17-1 in favor of Baldwinsville early in this matchup. Just about 12 minutes gone by in the first. Face-off taken, and it's one. Back up at the point now. This will be driven in, takes a deflection, and it comes out around on the side. Here's McGrain. McGrain looking for room. McGrain cuts around, makes a move, and that got backhanded on that same made rebound came out. Picked up by McGrain again. And now Fusion will pick this one up and flick it up the wall. And now they will pick up possession, but it's given right back to Baldwinsville. Mason Stutton there with the pass over to Bennett Mattoon.
One of the things that we're seeing that we did not see in the beginning of the game was the Fusion starting to push some people out that don't allow as many people into the crease. That was something that we talked about and saying that there was just too many Bees finding room in front of that goaltender we're starting to see them push them out a little bit more now.
Hinman to the middle, and that one was stopped. Rebound is also stopped, and now we get some pushing and shoving after the whistle. A 4-shot sequence for Baldwinsville.
Yeah, and that's something else that we're seeing is that when the Bees go down and shoot, we're not talking one shot and then the defense clearing it out. They're getting multiple opportunities. So one shot after another after another.
Yeah, smart move there by Hinman, though, to get out of there and not take the penalty. You can see him immediately as the pushing started, like, yeah, I don't think I'll take a penalty here. And
Yep.
just skate off. It was a smart decision.
Yeah, they're going to need to have every man on the ice. They can't afford to be down a player.
Chipped up, and this will make its way out of the zone before where it will not become an icing. Officials will deem it not worthy. It comes up the wall, and it'll be played now by Fusion. What can they get here? That one is picked off now by the Bees. They come out the other direction. It's Hinman, and that'll be picked off. Baldwinsville tries to send it in. That was and Owen Hawthorne trying to get to that. Comes around the side, and it'll be chipped up. Bees, in the process of making a change, will get to that one. I'm trying to get onto this was Fusion as they try to get it out of their end of the ice, but they'll just get dumped back in. Here's Ryatunder. This gets fired up, and it'll get blocked by Baldwinsville. They try to walk right back into the offensive end. That's handed over to McCollum. Shooting save made.
So one of the things that Coach Lloyd talked about in our interview that happened before the game was the commitment that he was looking for the Bees on the ice to the plan, right? Like they have a plan when they go into these games about how they want to run this team and how they want to run these plays. It's having these players commit to that and finding success. So something that we've seen already is some great passing, right? Some movement of the puck, and I think Coach has got to be pretty happy with what he's seen so far.
That gets chipped up. It'll be played by Dorito into the offensive zone, but they're caught offside. 3:20 left in this first period of play. Two 0 Baldwinsville advantage. Shots on goal 24-1 in favor of the Bees. Now get fired up into the offensive end. And there's Daniel Hinman down low. Hinman avoids a check, and this will come around the side where Fusion will try to get it out. It came up to Dorito. Dorito from the side sends it to the middle, and that one will be covered by Bertrand as it slipped in front of him. And we'll get a line change here for the Bees as they will opt to change things up. Face-off is one. Shot comes in, got blocked, and the Bees will try to either pick this up on the side, chipped up to the point where it will come out, and Baldwinsville will be forced to regroup. Crowley brings it in. Crowley makes a move with it, takes it down low. We'll chip it around. Crowley's still on it, surveys his options, and will elect to give it over to A.J. McFeeters. McFeeters handed it up to the point. Shot came in there, saved Bertrand. Played around down low. McCollum up to the point, shot there, got blocked on the way in, rebound, and that one did not find its way to the front, and it'll come out the other direction. Shipped down into the zone. Breen to return it, makes the pass up on the wall. Then over, the Bees will try to find this one out. In this first period, it's been really repetitive here as McCollum breaks through. He's in, save made by Bertrand.
Yeah, what speed, what skill there by that young man as he moved in from right to left.
And now the other way, here comes Fusion. It's Jacob Goss. Made the move around, and it'll be picked up by the Bees, who skate this one up the other direction. 1:43 left to go in the first period. It'll be dumped in. Baldwinsville will complete their line change. While Fusion will reset, fired up, that's intercepted at the point, sent on that save. Bertrand, rebound came out, and another save by Bertrand. And we get a whistle.
So one of the things, you know, we were talking about before the game is the synergy that this Baldwinsville team had to be able to show, because you got 4 players that are returning who are your top scorers in your top points, as well.
That came out in front, and that one, nobody was able to get the puck that was loose out in the middle. And so the Bees there, a bit of a wasted opportunity as they try to bring this 2-0 lead into intermission, or maybe even extend it. 1:10 left to go. Carried forward into the offensive end, making it through. Here's Dorito. Looks to him in front, and that got deflected up into the air. Making a plan, that was McGrain. It gets popped down low, save made by Bertrand, he will hold.
So, I mean, that's what we were sort of getting at, was that, you know, when you have guys that are coming back who have had success and played well together in your previous season, and you're bringing them all back for the new year, there's got to be that ability and confidence of hitting the ice with these guys over and over again, and that's what we're seeing, some good movement. They know where each other are at, and they're able to find each other, moving the puck and finding success in goals.
Here we come the other direction there. It's going to be picked up, and we will get a penalty here. It's going to be a hook coming up against Baldwinsville. That'll be number 18, Max Spino, older brother of Rocco Spino, headed to the box. Rocco Spino, a frequent on KSM Productions.
Yeah, shout out to the Lysander Lightning. Got to give props to the CNY Fusion, who stopped the bleeding here. That could have gotten out of control, going down 2 goals very early.
39 seconds remaining in the first period.
33 seconds here left to go in the first, as this penalty will carry over into the second. Sent down the ice, where Fusion will elect to make a play on it, looking to get another shot on goal here. This gets fired up. That pass got blocked. Here's McCollum, who might have taken a stick to the chest there as he hunched down. So it looked like maybe a little bit of contact that comes forward. St. Bertrand, rebound to McCollum. He scores. Rylan McCollum, a shorthanded goal. My former 10U teammate, actually.
Yeah, excellent concentration, excellent movement. What a shot. That puck bounced right out of there, and he just took it, found an opening in the net, and sealed the deal for the Bees.
Last year, 11 goals for McCollum, and he's got his first of this season pretty early. 6.2 left here.
Well, we were just talking about how the bleeding stopped there, right? You got 2 goals early, and they sort of calmed them down a little bit, but that goal, that's a stinger. That's a stinger, definitely.
And that's going to do it here for our first period of action. So, Baldwinsville, a huge start to their season. They lead this one 3-0 here as we go into intermission. We'll be back in a moment on KSM Productions, or not in a moment, after this 15 minutes subsides. And we will see you then. Don't go anywhere.
All right, we're going to be back here for Bees hockey second period action beginning here shortly. Before we begin, I wanted to touch on a interview that I had with Coach Lloyd, 41 years coaching here for the Baldwinsville Bees. One of the questions that I asked him was, how do you balance player development with competitiveness and winning games, right? And he talked about, this was really interesting, he talked about the two going hand in hand, developing individual, right, improving the team that leads to greater success. And he talked about how Baldwinsville always has looked to push their players to higher levels in hockey. And he talked about doing so on a regular basis. They talked about their players and what their pride in for Beeville hockey is after they graduate and move on to college. And he pointed to two players, one of them playing for Buffalo State, another one playing for St. John Fisher, as sort of testaments to that hard work. He talked about how they both are doing well. They're coming out of a Baldwinsville program, and they're able to compete with college hockey players across the country here in North America. And he said that's something that he's really proud of, right? He talked about other players from his previous teams going and playing at Oswego and Fredonia. And he talked about how that was something that he was just really proud of, the representation that they have here in high school. So something that I'm really sort of interested as we go along in the season and we cover these Baldwinsville games is to really get more insight from a guy like Lloyd, who can really bring a lot of perspective and veteran experience here to talk about how to play the game right. So why don't we check out here the upcoming schedule for the Bees?
Yeah, so the Bees scheduled this season, they have a total of 10 home games, including this one tonight at CNY Fusion. Their next home game is 10 days from now as they take on an out-of-section opponent in St. Lawrence. And that, obviously, with out-of-section opponents, kind of a mixed bag. You never really know what you're going to get, but it could be one of their toughest tests or one of their easiest tests. You never really know.
Yeah. And I'll just point out to you, I think we missed one game in there. They actually go from here. They end up going next Wednesday, and playing at West Jenny before they go to St. Lawrence. So something that we're really going to, I'm sure they're keeping an eye on, is using these periods here as they got a comfortable lead to really test out some of these younger guys, get some flow going, because they got a big test coming up next week when they probably play what is the premier expected sort of lead team in the Division I of Section 3.
Well, with that, we are just about ready to get set here for the second period of action. Baldwinsville will start this period from shooting from left to right. Fusion from right to left, and we will have a penalty that carries over as Max Spino continues to serve his hooking minor as he starts in the box of shame. On the face-off, it is A.J. McFeeters and John Casey. Opening face-off of the second period is taken underway here. Bees on the penalty kill, so they can just fire this puck down whenever they want, pretty much. They'll be taken along the side. Here's Cam Parento, brings it forward. One of the Bees gets caught by the blue line. Now this gets fired back in here. Baldwinsville, throughout that first period, Brian, it was a lot of just Baldwinsville getting it in, Fusion clearing it out, but then not really being able to go anywhere with it, as Baldwinsville just took it right back in the offensive zone. It was kind of a cycle like that, with the exception of the 3 goals we had. Here from the Bees carrying that one in from the side shot there, fires or is over the net.
Well, they were using their speed, they were moving their feet quite a bit, and they were clearly moving the puck and knowing where each player was on the ice. We saw a lot of really great passes, continuous movement here from the Bees as they went right, left.
And there's a beater left alone in front of the net. That one was stopped. It comes around on the side. It'll be picked up, played along the wall. Trying to make a plan. That is Crowley. This will get chipped down the ice. Be played down low now by Dylan Breen. Chipped up the wall, comes into the offensive end. Down the ice, Bertram tried to get a hold on that, but the Fusion there recognized they had a chance to get it out, so they will choose to take this one out themselves. Brought up into the offensive end, it's picked forward. Fusion there had an opportunity for something, but this will be stopped and brought back forward the other way. Here come the Bees. Dorito had that one poked away, and Hinman tries to dump this in. It's blown dead offside. 15-18 to go here in this second period of play in the home opener for Baldwinsville, where they lead 3-0.
Two of those goals that we saw in that first period were plays in which they were able to get the puck right in front of the goaltender to be able to strike it in close range. That's something that I think they were recognizing that they have an advantage on. If they can get the puck and do some short range shots.
Weaver came in, his shot was stopped, and it was let in front of the net, but just nothing really able to get of that one. That shot there deflects out of play from Don Pertel. That's the 30th shot on goal from our count. This probably is not a perfectly accurate count, but it'll give you a general idea of the shots. And it tells the story of Bees being dominant offensively and Keegan Bertrand being there to stop them.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping the pressure up, and nothing's changed here in this beginning of the second period.
Played from the side, it's battled along, get chipped up and out of the zone. Baldwinsville continuing to play physical here early on. It's Rocco Weaver, had faced a bit of a challenge there. As it comes up, will be picked off by Baldwinsville. They move forward. Pertel from the side dumps it in and then absorbs the check. And this one will be held by Bertrand. 15:03 left to go. So far in Section 3 this season, there have been 3 games played. West Genesee and Skaneateles have both played games. Genesee has defeated Mohawk Valley 6-0 and fell to out-of-section opponent Pittsford 5-3. And Skaneateles took down out-of-section opponent Canandaigua. Both those teams getting early starts to their season. West Genny plays another game tonight against Skaneateles, the two champions of the section. Skaneateles 3 consecutive years winning the state title. West Genny 5 consecutive years winning the sectional title. I don't really have a number on how many consecutive years Skaneateles has won it, but it seems like it's pretty similar. That shot from McCollum is stopped by Bertrand. McCollum there looking for his second of the game.
Yeah, I mean, talk about starting off your season really with a great sort of test. That Scan West Genny game, I'm sure, is lots of eyes watching across the central New York about that game.
McGreen won the draw over to McCollum. Picked up by McGreen down low to the middle, and that one was intended for him, but just could not get that to go anywhere. McGreen came back trying to get to this one. It comes up and out of the zone. McGreen gets his stick caught in one of the Fusion players' hands. Official will let things play out. Didn't see enough there to warrant a hooking infraction. Comes along on the side. It'll be picked up now by Fusion. Tundur gets out of the way of a check there. That was one of the captains for Baldwinsville, number 14, Don Ritter, who came in trying to hit. And Tundur said, no, I'll just dodge that and send you flying into the wall.
As we take a look at schedules, we talk about the Fusion. Fusion, after they play Baldwinsville, have to turn around next week, play a Mohawk Valley squad, and then go over and play St. Lawrence too. So both teams, both the Bees and the Fusion, are going to have to play St. Lawrence early on here in the season.
Yeah, Mohawk Valley generally regarded as one of the weaker teams in the section, and could be a good opportunity for Fusion to bounce back if things don't turn around in their favor here tonight.
Well, we mentioned about the 2 players that are injured, perhaps some time
now
there.
We're going to get a penalty here against Fusion, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's see. I believe it's on Fusion, actually.
To cross-check.
It looks like we'll wait for the official signal. And it will be a cross-check. Yep, so number 14 for CNY Fusion, that's Jacob Goss, heads to the box. B's second power play of the day, and I put up the wrong time. It's not 1:30, it's 2 minutes. 13 minutes left to play here in the second period. That one's chipped on that save. Bertrand, he holds. And facing, by my count, 32nd shot of the day.
Yeah, we talked about, I think it was last year, was it New Hartford, right? And was it Master Vito there that had just ridiculous numbers as a goalie because he had faced so many shots from game to game.
Shot there, oh, that one, and a chance, now they score. I don't know if the initial shot went in, but the rebound definitely did. It's A.J. McFeeters who puts that one away off the initial shot from Rocco Weaver. And make it 4-0 Beeville.
Just some great awareness, right? That puck is going to bounce out. He's going to have full access to it. Just has to be in the right place to create the execution. Has no problem being able to tap that thing right in. Beautiful play, beautiful goal, 4-0 Bees.
We'll see who is going to get credit with it, but judging by the celebration, it'll be AJ McFeeters.
A power play goal scored at 12:49 in the second period was scored by number 25, AJ McFeeters. Assistant number 19, Rocco Weaver, and number 26, Keegan Crowley.
So Keegan Crowley, the sophomore, will pick up a point on that one. That gets fired in around the wall, be shot in at the point, deflected, save made there, or I don't think I actually ended up on that. I'm not sure why I said save made. This comes around and it'll be fired up and out of the zone, right for the Beast to take it right back. Donovan Worth fires it around the side. Fusion is there, and they will regroup here. That's fired up. Icing upcoming, and it will not be called since Baldwinsville got there before it went over the line. Here's Nick Sands on the wall, and it comes forward, and it's taken the other way. Here's Easton Anderson. Anderson, the freshman, he's hit there. That's a big check from number 2, Riot Tunder, the junior out of Fulton. Shot comes in there. That one did not go. Battle for Anderson making a play on it. Anderson still making a play on it. Still with the possession. Battles for it. Anderson still with it. Now they'll send it to the front. Nothing going there. One of the Fusion players got buried in front of the net by Maverick Lemon. This comes back the other way. Here's a foot race for it, but the Bees will win that foot race. Here's Donovan Worth. That comes up there, save made by Bice. One of the first major saves he's had to make today on the shot from Colton Alardi.
Yeah, sometimes it's so hard. You know, situation where you're not getting a lot of action, you got to be ready to go on that one case where they might get a shot to go through.
There comes Lucio McGray and sends it over to Pinman, but nothing there as that one is shut down by Bertrand. Played around on the side, fighting for it on the boards. Chipped up to the point now. It comes over. Mattoon shooting one. Save made by Bertrand. And one of the Bees in front got knocked down pretty good. Physicality certainly increasing here in this game. Baldwinsville in their season opener.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it looks like we got all of a sudden some more physical play happening from both sides here as we move into the middle of the second period here.
This will get sent in. Delayed offside will force a tag up from Fusion. Gets fired up and goes out of the zone. Makes its way down the ice. Trying to get on this is Owen Hawthorne. It gets passed over. And this one will get sent down the ice. Got tipped by a Bee, so even if it had made it, it wouldn't have been an icing. Comes over. Crowley fires it forward into the offensive end. Crowley rubbed out on the wall. And this one will be picked up now by the Bees. Moving in for the side. Centering pass from Owen Hawthorne, intended for, I believe that was Max Spino. Nothing going there. Yeah, so that was Max Spino there who got to that one. Will be played down low. Spino comes in and he'll land a hit. Gets tangled up with one of the Fusion players. And it comes up the other way. Here comes Fusion out. Looking like a solid check incoming. And there's the hit from number 12, Rylan McCollum. Played 10 U Syracuse Nats with him back in 2018. Random fact. This gets popped up. Opportunity for the Bees. McCollum moving in, looking for a second of the game. He scores.
He's got it.
Rylan McCollum, his second of the game. And Baldwinsville takes a 5-0 lead here in the second period. 8:57 left to go.
Well, that play broke away from where you had a situation where that defender looked up. What a beautiful pass to see him up there on the blue line waiting for it. Excellent puck movement by this B team here. 5-0, 8:57 left in the second.
And in a game like this, you'd expect that the physicality is definitely going to go up. We might get some penalties here as frustration starts to take over. And here's McFeeters, already with a goal on the day. He was stopped. That comes in offside.
Number 12, Rylan McCullum. Assistant number 26, Keegan Crowley.
Keegan Crowley picks up another assist on the goal from McCollum. Faceoff comes back to center off the offside. 8:48 left to go in the second period of play on this Tuesday night. There was a bit of a question on whether this game would be played today, as if after school activities were canceled or school was canceled due to the snowstorm, it seemed unlikely that a game would be played, but nobody ended up canceling. Game ended up being allowed to go. We get a whistle and that gets dislodged.
Well, that's how we were talking about how last year the season started for the Bees, right? They had a game that was postponed. The first game of the year was postponed. I don't remember what it was, but we can only assume it was a weather situation. So I'm glad these guys got out here, were able to sort of hit the ice for the first night of opening Section 3 hockey.
Cam Parento playing this one on the wall. Trying to get to it was a couple of Bees, and now it's taken out. It's a 2-on-2 for Fusion. They move in. Oh, offside. The move on the blue line is going to be what does him over. That was John Casey who had possession of that puck, the junior out of Hannibal.
So last time these two teams played was back in 24, a Bees 5-0 win over the Fusion. It was the first shutout for Chase Brooks, who was in goal at the time.
Right along the side trying to get to that. Or the Bees just get sent in there. Save made. Bouncing along the wall. Blocked. Now comes up played by Hawthorne. Sends it around onto the middle pass there. Couldn't get that one to go. It's chipped around down and deep by Don Pertel. On that is Owen Hawthorne. He takes a hit. Shot comes from the point. Got blocked in front there. I believe it hit a B. Pertel chips it in. It gets picked up by Fusion. They will just elect to fire this one down the ice to get the line change. That will be an icing against Fusion. Played around on the side. Off the draw. Baldwinsville continuing to nurture their possession in the offensive zone. Toland gets down, lands a check. And it comes forward, takes a bounce. Toland has an opportunity at it, and his attempt goes into the foot of Jacob Goss. 7 minutes left here in the second period. Bees continuing just to play offensively. Played around on down low. Oh, hit there. Penalty upcoming to Baldwinsville. And now we'll get some extracurriculars after that. And the Fusion bench is going to love that one. So banging of the boards there from Fusion as one of the Bees got tackled. We'll see how the officials sort this one out.
Yeah, well, I think the Fusion player there took a sort of exception to getting hit in the back there. Was not okay with that.
Yeah, so Rylan McCollum was the one who got knocked down. McCollum with 2 goals on the day. And so we will get our first sentence to the penalty box here of this sequence, Jacob Goss. Officials now will talk it over to see about any further penalties. I'll quickly load this one up in case that for when they make decisions. So McCollum will go to the box too. So we'll see what they end up doing here. Will they do 5-on-5 or will they do 4-on-4? Officials will talk it over, but Fusion there, they had a power play, and then the extracurricular activity results in no more power play. Beeville has 4 players out on the ice right now, which leads me to believe that it will be 4-on-4 unless we decide on something else. So faceoff will be down in the Baldwinsville zone. 4 players on, so it's going to be a 5-minute major against Baldwinsville. What an odd sequence this is. So I don't know if they're playing 4-on-4 for 5 minutes, or it looks like there's someone. So there's 5 on the ice right now for Fusion. Pardon me, I'm just trying to commentate through this as we sort this out here. Coaches being spoken to.
It's a 5-minute major on the Bees from McCollum, right?
Yeah, so McCollum's in the box with a 5-minute major. I believe it's going to be for the check from behind.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so it looks like that's where we will stand. I'll quickly get rid of that. There we go. So a 5-minute major for McCollum gives a huge power play here for Fusion as it's non-releasable, so they have an opportunity here to chip away at the lead. Comes along over, Parento dishes it off to Tonder. Or excuse me, not Tonder, Colin Boyzek. Down low, making a play on this is Baldwinsville, and they will fire this one out of the zone. Dylan Breen sends this one out.
CNY Fusion, number 14, 2 minutes for roughing. On Baldwinsville, 2 minutes to number 12, Rylan McCollum for roughing. 5 minutes in a game misconduct to 27, Joe Tolan for a hit booty hockey.
So yeah, Joe Tolan was the one on who committed the infraction. Rylan McCollum just in there serving the penalty. I was going to say, I didn't think McCollum was the one who actually committed the hit. So Tolan out for the game with a game misconduct and a 5-minute major as we get an icing here. And then both players received coincidental roughing minors. And so they're trying to, it looks like the official will go back over to the box to clarify more. We did see a Baldwinsville player exit, but for some reason I thought they were wearing goalie pads, and obviously they weren't. So I would have mentioned it had I not been stupid and thought they were wearing goalie pads. So.
Well, and I saw somebody with a tie on that wasn't dressed for the game. I saw him leave. But none of that made sense, so.
And
all right,
so,
now they got.
Yeah, so now there's another.
Okay, so 9, yep.
And yeah, so they put a number in the box.
Go, right, Anderson's in.
Yeah, and Anderson's in the box to serve the, I believe, the 2-minute roughing minor. So they can release at the right time. It's a time after the whistle. So really odd sequence here, and the Bees are nearly able to put away their 6th of the game. It comes along from the side, gets played over. Now that hopefully this confusion is over, I can say this is the first time I've ever, with the scoreboard software, put up 5 minutes on one of the penalty clocks.
There you go.
First time for everything. Brought into the offensive zone. Here's Hinman. He'll just fire that one in. Save made by Bertrand. He'll throw it away. I got to get rid of that. There we go. A good hit there by one of the Bees. That was number 4, Andrew Hawkinson. Hawkinson, one of our goal scorers on the day for Baldwinsville. 5:02 left to go here in the second period of play. 2 goals on the day for Rylan McCollum, 1 for A.J. McFeeters, 1 for Alessio McGrain, and 1 for Andrew Hawkinson. Good day for offensive production for them. This one gets sent down the ice, and obviously since they're killing a penalty, it will not become an icing. Down low, looking for the check was Max Spino, but misjudged his target's trajectory a tiny bit and ended up running into the wall. Comes out the other direction. Here comes Fusion to the offensive end. It's Boyzek. And this one will get fired down the ice, where Bertrand will take possession of it. 4:20 left to go in the second period. 2:30 left in the 5-minute major. And at the next whistle, the 2 players should be released from the box for their roughing minors. 2:20 left now. Brought into the offensive zone for the Bees from the side. McFeeters tried to feed McGrain, but it got blocked on the way in. And that one makes its way out of play. Whistles from the officials, and that is the end of the coincidental roughing minors as number 14.
Well, between the penalties here.
Goss exits the box.
Between the penalties, I was just going to say that we got sort of this disruption of the flow that the Bees were having in the first period, right? So it's something, you know, that in sort of a consequence of some of the penalties, it's just it stopped the flow of the Bees here. Slow things down a little bit on both sides of the bench there.
3:50 left to go in the second period of play. It'll be taken out the other direction by Fusion. A word escaped my mind there for a second. Sorry about that. There's a good hit there from Baldwinsville on the freshman Aiden Fallstick. And that gets sent out to the middle. Save made by Bertrand. Bertrand, he's come up big today and multiple times. From my count, that's their 38th shot. And here they come again from the side, save Bertrand. That was Dom Dorito. Doritos had his fair share of chances today, so he's been unable to capitalize. And that one gets popped up into the air, making a play on it. It battled for on the wall. Fusion brings it into the offensive end, but it'll be picked up by McFeeters. Sent over, comes up, and that will be intercepted. Coming the other way now, McFeeters dumps it in. 2:50 left to go in the second period. McFeeters again picks it up. Bees a great penalty kill. You wouldn't really know that they were down a man if this power play thing wasn't on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
they've just been dominant in the offensive zone.
Yeah, they're just controlling the tempo, right? They're controlling the play. They're beating all these one-on-one situations. They're just beating it out. So they're just gaining control of the puck the entire time.
That pass got deflected. It could have been an opportunity for Fusion, but that's a heads-up play by McGrain to get in the way of that. This will get dumped in. Spino getting down to that. Now he'll land the check. Spino, a couple of good hits here in this game, sending a statement for the Bees. This will get dumped in. 2 minutes left to go. McGrain in pursuit. He will pick it up. McGrain tried to make a move. It gets dumped up down low. And gets fired up to the point now where Crowley will shoot. That one gets deflected wide. McGrain on it. Gets locked up on the wall. And this will get sent over. Hawkinson up to the point. Gave it to Crowley, whose shot got deflected high. Hawkinson came in on this one, battling for it. It's picked up, pass is intercepted by Fusion. They will come out the other direction. 1:30 left to go in the second period of action. And it'll be picked up now by Fusion, looking for something here before the end of the second period. Nick Sands sent that one over. 15 left, or 1:15 left, excuse me. It'll be retrieved by Crowley, gets sent up, picked off now by Hinman, but an offside will be called. With 1:01 left here in the period. Penalty finally expires, so Easton Anderson back out doing his time served there. Or excuse me, Rylan McCollum served the 5-minute major.
This is the last minute of play in the period.
1 minute left in the second period. Speaking of Easton Anderson, he's out there on the ice right now after serving the roughing minor. Comes up along. This will get it sent to the middle. Opportunity, backhanded save made and held by Bice. 42.3 left here in this second period of play. Brian, what has been your take on how this period's gone?
Well, we kind of, thought coming out of the gate, I was wondering to see if we were going to have the same flow. And outside of some physical, obviously with the penalties, the physical sort of effort going on there, it disrupted a little bit of that. But, I mean, I think if you're the coach of the Bees, you have to be satisfied with the fact that you're just sort of continuing to make this game sort of just out of touch for the Fusion. They're just not getting access to any puck movement on the offensive side of the puck. So, kind of one of these situations where now you're just sort of looking and saying, all right, what else can we work on here to kind of keep the flow going, close out this game, avoid injury, and be able to pack it up and move on.
This gets fired around on the wall. We have somebody in chat saying, check out Easton. Why don't we take a look at him real quick? Easton Anderson, the freshman on Baldwinsville, his first year on varsity. And he's been out there a few times today for the Bees.
Ooh.
Collision there. It's picked up by Baldwinsville. They try to bring it in. Here's McGrain. Alessio McGrain looking. McGrain from the side. Tried to send that to the middle. Got deflected by the defender. Comes out last. Seconds will tick off. And that is the end of our second period of action. 5-0 Baldwinsville leads. We will head to intermission. Don't go anywhere here on KSM Productions. Be back in 15.
All right, we're back here at Three Rivers Ice Complex where the Bees have a commanding 5-0 lead over the CNY Fusion. Brian Heffron, Killian Heffron here from KSN. One of the things, Killian, I wanted to talk about here was a comment that Coach Lloyd had made about, I was talking to him about what he sort of have seen over the course of his 41 years behind the bench here with the Baldwinsville Bees. And he talked about how really it's something that he has experienced, and you can see it experienced in both the NHL, the collegiate level, the junior level. And he talked about how the game has shifted from more of a physical game to more of one about skill and speed. And he talked about how refs really sort of referee a more tighter game now than ever before. But he mentioned about how it used to be they would have members of Baldwinsville join the team who couldn't even skate. These were just big guys who could play a tough hockey game. And now you can't pass that. With 40 players who tried out for the team this year, 40 players who tried out for the Baldwinsville Bees, each one of these kids he mentioned has serious skill. And so it's something that he said has really changed over the course of his time as coach of the Baldwinsville Bees.
Certainly a change, like you said, that's been reflected through all levels from youth to pro. As we will now take a look at a couple of rosters here. First off, starting off the Bevo roster. Haven't had an opportunity to look at this really all game, but head coach, obviously, Mark Lloyd, 41st year. Assistants Glenn McCaffrey, James Muscatello, and Newell Field.
And they roster 27 players, which is just about, I was looking at all the teams in Section 3, and they're right at par with pretty much all of the teams, the exception being really CNY Fusion, who comes in with a much lower squad this year. But 7 seniors anchoring this team, 6 juniors, 8 sophomores, 5 freshmen, and 1 8th grader.
Meanwhile, for Fusion, head coach Jay Mucha and assistant Clark Wolf. One of the smaller rosters here of...
Yeah, 22 players on this squad, representing districts that include Phoenix, Fulton, Caton, Meridian, Hannibal, Jordan Elbridge, a wide range of different players here on this Fusion team.
Third period underway, and I would expect some physicality here in this third one as frustration may start to take over and as Baldwinsville continues to develop their game, which they've done a great job of doing today. This shot comes in took a glance off the side of the net, play 8 around down low, send up to the middle, making a play on that was McGrain, but it's going to be picked off and taken the other way by Fusion. That was Nick Sands who brought it forward.
Well, I think one of the things they're going to look for, and one of the things I'd like to see, is the Bees get back to sort of that first period play. Very smooth, players in the right position. That second period, even though they got a couple of goals on there, which is important, one of the things that we saw was it kind of got a little chippy. Play got kind of out of control a little bit more physicality, which I think we all enjoy seeing from time to time. But it was really impressive how they came out of the gate and were sort of playing team hockey in that first period. I think it's one of the things we'll look for to see if they can repeat that here in the third.
Officials here keeping things moving. I was going to have another look at the Baldwinsville schedule and talk about some of their matchups at home later this season, which will be must-sees in Section 3, but didn't have time to do that. The officials decided that we're going to get this one underway. Back in there, save made by Bertrand. And Bertrand, and today, 5 goals allowed, but per my count, he has faced 42 shots on goal as that one goes in. And it is 6-0 Baldwinsville now. I don't know who actually is going to get this. Leading the pack is number 26, Keegan Crowley, who's already had a couple assists today. And we'll see what they end up announcing, but I don't know if that tip got tipped on the way in. Crowley was the one who had the shot.
Yeah, so lots of traffic in front of that net there. That puck sort of went in, and there's no way Bertrand was going to be able to see and track that thing. There must have been 6 different bodies that was in front of him and the shooter.
Crowley, another one of my former teammates from years past.
Crowley's had a really good game. Moves the puck really smoothly. Very comfortable controlling it.
So they will give it to Keegan Crowley, number 26. And that centers in the middle. Oh, immediately another opportunity there for... And it's going to be Max Spino who actually gets credit with an assist here, I believe. So shots on goal 44-4 in favor of Baldwinsville. And before we were so rudely interrupted by that Bees goal, Bertrand, and he's had a strong showing out there today. He's faced a lot of extremely high danger chances and been able to shut down most of them. He just hasn't really had that much help today.
Yeah, well, as we talked about, right, when you're putting people right in front of point blank range, it's just you're going to have a hard time being able to stop all those shots.
I'll give a shout out right now to somebody who requested one when I saw him in the lobby during the intermission. Cole Hawthorne, the younger brother of Owen Hawthorne, requested to get shouted out. So shout out to Cole, I guess.
Awesome job by Cole. Strong player, quick on his feet.
I got backhanded in the middle. It's going to end up on top of the net. Not going to be a shot on goal, but bit of a odd way to stop. We've got just about 2:20 played here, 2:22, excuse me, played in this third period so far. One goal so far for the Bees coming from Keegan Crowley. Brought forward in the offensive zone. Here's McGrain. McGrain makes a move, cuts to the middle. His shot is left there. Save Bertrand.
I tell you what, McGrain gets some space and he gets that puck moving. He is one quick skater. Such a enjoyment to watch him move that puck.
Dorito was standing in front. That was sent to the middle by Hinman. It's still loose. Picked up now Hinman, looking to wrap it, and he's got really nowhere to go. He'll just be forced to play this onto the wall. McGrain digs it out.
Right now.
From the side, McGrain, oh, looking for Dorito, nothing there. Dom Dorito, the senior this year on Baldwinsville. Bees will make a couple of changes in personnel. This will be picked up now by Baldwinsville. Fired around the side net. Mattoon plays it forward. It's going to be picked up now by Baldwinsville moving into the offensive zone. It's Dorito, one of the four captains. It's chipped down low. Here's Ryland McCollum.
Yeah, we were talking about that with 4 captains this year. No assistant, just 4 captains. Pretty interesting move by Coach Lloyd and his staff.
Played down low, centering pass intended for McCollum, deflected away. Now the shot from the point.
Yeah, looks like the dislodged net.
We'll get changes here on both sides. Line change here for Baldwinsville. 13:21 left to play in this third period. This backhand pass is not accurate. It'll make its way out of the zone. Weaver with it, fires it up. It's going to be picked off by Fusion, but they are offside. That was John Casey who brought that one in.
Just taking a look at the Bees' schedule coming up here. One thing to note is they play their first 4 or 5 games home. They don't really hit the road until January to play a game here. So interesting sort of way that schedule worked out for them. It's going to be important that they jump ahead and make sure they get as many wins here, take advantage of the home slate before they have to hit the road in January.
13:02 left in the third period and brought forward into the offensive end. Here's Rocco Weaver, makes his way in. Save made by Bertrand. We got a whistle. And I'm unsure what for.
You know, I don't know if he lost track of it. It's a quick whistle on that, but
looks like the official might have just lost track of the puck, I think. Regardless, it's a shot on goal for Baldwinsville. Their shot total continues to increase on the day. Thomas Rolfe on the draw. It's one back to the point. Shot got blocked. Comes to the middle. Save Bertrand. Controlled around the side of the net. Bees approaching 50 shots on goal per my count. Wraparound try. Nothing there. Save Bertrand. The rebound is held. And so the Bees continuing to be relentless offensively. And the physicality of this game, which has been dominated by Baldwinsville, continues to be dominated by Baldwinsville. Game of highlight on the Bees schedule will be their annual meeting against my home school, CNS, later on this season. And always fun when you get a little border battle between those two, especially now that Liverpool players are on CNS this year, as they were last year.
Well, that CNS team.
And they score. Wow, what a shot.
When you don't know it, they score until you see the Gatorade bottle pop up from the back of the net. That tells you how fast that puck was moving.
That's Dylan Breen on the shot, makes it 7-0 Bees.
Beautiful goal.
I was trusting that Breen would wait a minute to shoot that to let me finish my spiel about the matchup against CNS later this season, but he decides to fire that one by with a nice snapshot from the point.
You couldn't tell that it went in. All you saw was the bottle popping around in the back. Great play.
Baldwinsville 7-0 lead on this one now. They have surpassed how last year went. Baldwinsville won this game 5-0, and that gets dislodged by Bertrand sliding into it.
Well, I think going back to that first period, I think it was really important. Probably the most important goal of the game was when Alessio McGray, his goal so quickly, less than a minute into that game, the Bees jumped on very early, and before you sort of blink, it's 2-0 Bees. So just a very hard hill for them to come back on.
Sent to the middle there, say Bertrand on the shot from number 15, Daniel Hinman. Thomas Rolfe will get the assist.
First goal.
Balfour down a low hit there on the sideboards, and the officials will deem it was just kind of a size difference. It'll come back the other way and be brought forward into the offensive end. Here's McGrain. McGrain opened the scoring for Baldwinsville today. Tries to continue to scoring, and it's loose in front. Do we get a whistle? And yes, we did get a whistle, obviously, and it will result in no goal. 2-shot sequence for Baldwinsville, nothing to come of it, as the net ended up getting dislodged, which has been a problem today. The net has not wanted to stay on. 52nd shot on goal of the day for Baldwinsville. They're off the 2-shot sequence with the initial shot and the rebound. That took a double deflection on the way in. I thought that one was bouncing in, but ended up bouncing across the crease. Spino muscled off that one, but it comes right back to Baldwinsville. Trying to get that was McCollum. It gets dropped back. They score, and that'll make it 8-0 Baldwinsville.
Well, we talked about the importance of the Bees keeping up. One of the things that you just have to sort of shows the difference of these teams right now is that there's just the relentless pursuit of the Bees. They just swarm that puck, no pun intended. But every time we look at where that puck is going, you got 2 or 3 players going after it. They are not holding back by any sort of move to try to make this game at least a little bit slow down. It is just attack, attack, attack right now.
McFeeters is second of the day. That shot gets deflected on the way in. Bertrand knocks that one up. Fusion tries to break out of the zone, and they will be able to get it up to the blue line. Now it'll come out, and it'll be taken by Rocco Weaver. Weaver skates it up. 10:30 left to go in the third period of play. Max Spino on the side of it. Spino tried to dish it up to the point, but the pass didn't have enough on it. And it'll just be fired right back in by number 19, Rocco Weaver. But going back to what I was saying earlier about the rivalry matchup between Baldwinsville and CNS, those two schools always seem to meet each other in literally every sport. And it's going to be no different this year for hockey. That matchup promises to be good as both these teams looking to take that next step into making a sectional championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say that both of these teams are probably in the hunt, right? I mean, they're both sort of at that level where they both have the talent, they both have the experience, and they've got returning players that can sort of really make a push into the playoffs. The big question is, once again, is who can sort of be able to knock that West Jenny team off that pedestal, right? I mean, every year we sort of talk about this team that comes in and it's just hard to find.
We're going to get a pretty easy penalty here. We'll see what they end up calling this, because leg-on-leg trips are usually called a little differently than
7, 6, 9, 3.
But that team, whatever team is going to compete this year for that Section 3 title, it's going to have to be a team that brings lots of experience to the plate, because those drives that happen come, March when you hit the playoffs, that's important. And that's where West Jenny always sort of found their stride. They played their best hockey once the playoffs began.
And so it'll just be decided on a minor. 2 minutes for tripping. Fusion to the power play. Face-off is won by the Bees. They'll take this one up. Under 10 minutes now left in the third period. Pass over. Rocco Weaver getting the trip, and you saw the officials come together there as it was a leg-on-leg play, which officials tend to call much more tightly since the injury potential that results from it, but they ultimately decided that it was not worthy of anything higher than a minor. That's what they kind of just skated into each other. Played around down low. Fusion looking for something here on this power play. Had a major 5-minute power play earlier. Quite literally a major 5-minute power play, actually. But Baldwinsville's penalty kill was reigned supreme in that one. I got sent to the middle there. Save made by Bice. Gets sent down the ice for no icing because it is a penalty kill situation for Baldwinsville. Gets chipped up. Dumped in. Here's Andrew Hawkinson, one of the goal scorers. He'll take a hit. Hawkinson still battling for it. And it'll be now played by Fusion. 8-0 our score, 8:16 left to go in this third period. Walking through into the offensive end. Here comes Fusion. This will get dumped in. Sutton picks it up. Pass picked off at the point by Parento, who dumps it back in. That pass nearly could have sent Baldwinsville on a break, but nothing able to come of that. Well, a wraparound pass attempt, nothing going there. That was Owen Hawthorne who had the idea, but just didn't have any help with him. 15 seconds left on penalty. It's just picked off now. Alex White shot. That one goes wide. Save rebound, and that one will be held. And we'll get some extracurriculars after that one as well.
Well, good effort there by the Fusion. A great shot and then a follow-up. You know, you kind of had two Beast players that you thought were going to be able to clear that, and all of a sudden, here you go. You got a CNY Fusion player making his way through to make a second shot on the play.
7:31 left in the third. Barring a miracle comeback, Baldwinsville 7 minutes away from starting this season much differently than they started last season, because they were blown out to start last year. This year looking to start the exact opposite way. Collision there on the boards. This gets fired up. It'll be picked off at the point. Shot comes in from Breen. That one did not go. Max Spino dumps it over. Gave it over to A.J. McFeeters. Pass picked up. 8-0 our score. 6:55 left to go. Here is Dylan Breen. Breen with a goal on the day. He'll walk into the zone. Breen looking. Tried to fire it over to Spino, but Spino just... The pass was on target, but it was blocked by the stick of Bertrand. Spino backhands that one. Nothing going there. Still trying to stay on it. Now it'll get sent out of the zone. 6:25 left to go. Somebody's stick is laying on the ice in neutral zone. Now it's brought forward into the offensive zone. Here's Rylan McCollum. Makes a move and scores. Rylan McCollum will pick that one up.
Yep.
And I'll make it 9-0. I believe that's the second of the game.
Yeah, I think it is. Yep.
So McCollum
got one in the first period.
We're getting an argument here from the Fusion bench over, I believe it was a play that happened earlier.
Yeah, they didn't like it. There was a hit that happened here sort of off the play. A B player sort of really kind of leveled out one of the CNY Fusion players. Looks like he's injured off of the play, and I think that's what their coach there is complaining about, saying, look, he's got either a cut or he's bleeding from the mouth or something's happening, where he was not cool with how that was just not called on that play. I think he's saying, how did you miss that one?
So Rylan McCollum has a hat trick here in the home opener for Baldwinsville, his third of the game.
Yeah, great job by that young man today.
Brought forward into the offensive end the other way, though. Pass to the middle, and that one, I don't think it made it on that. I think it just kind of got fanned on. Shot there. That's a good block at the point by number 17, Maverick Lemon. Or Lemon. I'm not too entirely sure how you pronounce that. Easton Anderson fires this one on net. Battles for it down low. 5:33 left to go. Anderson still with it. The freshman turning. Fires up to the point, and that will come out of the zone as the point was not quite set yet. Weaver will shoot one. That's a good block on the way in. And then Weaver will turn that one on the net right after and rush in and make a hit. This one comes up out of the zone. Icing will be waved off here. 5 minutes left in the third period. And this is the point where this game will definitely start to get chippy. Into the offensive zone. That's a good move there by Daniel Hinman, but he was met with resistance from a number of Fusion players. Played around on down low. There's McGrain shooting one, save made, held by Bertrand. 57th shot on goal today for Baldwinsville, as they're 4:40 away from taking their first win of the season. Fusion has shown some signs of life here in the third period. They've been able to get a couple of close chances, but Bice, who has not really had much to do all day, has stepped up when needed. That one, wow, that saved Bertrand. The rebound was fanned on by Andrew Hawkinson. 4:30 left to go. Comes out of the zone. It'll be fired up. 4:27 now left. Picked up, brought to the offensive zone here by Colin and Boyzek, who got met by a few Bs on his way in. It comes over. Here's Bennett Mattoon. Mattoon fires it up, and it'll come out of the zone. Here's Hawkinson's pass. Bit of a misread there by Hawkinson as it comes the other way. Here's Gavin Winhausen. Winhausen from the side. Centering pass. It gone on net. 3:58 left to go. And this comes into the offensive zone. Here's Casey. Casey from the side. Drops it back to White. White makes a plan. A little bit of contact act there.
Fusion are definitely pulling together some movement here. Sort of seeing a fire from these players.
Audience trying to give Fusion some motivation here. Of 3:28 left. Anderson Beck had that one, but ended up losing possession. It comes back Fusion with it. They send it up. That one on net. That's a good save there by Bertrand. Easy glove save. On the shot from the point from Bennett Mattoon, another freshman, talented freshman in that this Baldwinsville team had, as they're a relatively young team.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at you.
Only 7 seniors, which is quite a big number, but compared to their whole roster.
Sure. Well, when you got 40 kids trying out for the team, right? And you got some movement, you're picking up and you're bringing in freshmen. You know you've got some talent in that group.
3:07 left to go. And the audience members getting into it a little.
Well,
Tensions beginning to boil over here on both sides, but on the ice they've been able to keep it mostly clean.
you got to give.
And here comes Fusion to the offensive zone from the side. Shot there goes wide. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say you give credit to the Baldwins, or excuse me, to the Fusion, who once again, down 9 goals, are still putting together some hard play here.
2:42 left to go. Left in this one. Comes back over, or trying to make a move on that. Bit of contact there. Baldwinsville continuing to play a solid offensively in this game, but definitely tides have kind of just evened out here in the last few minutes as both of these teams just kind of trying to not get anybody injured. Fusion a couple of notable injuries already. This comes in, 2:13 left to go. Final few minutes ticking off. Good hit down low there, or by the IBs. Comes up along the wall. Knocked down in by Crowley. Or excuse me, not Crowley, McFeeters. McFeeters and Crowley have both had their names called plenty of times today, however, so
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't have been surprised had it been Crowley in that situation. He's made some solid pinches on defense today. Bringing that up is Rocco Weaver. That one gets sent through the middle of the crease. Nothing going there. 1:40 left in the third. Here comes Fusion into the offensive zone. Making a cut over. Baldwinsville gets a few Bs on that one. And a few sticks on that one. Hit to the middle, and that one just goes through. 1:20 left in the third period of play, or I jumped the gun on that a little. Now it's 1:20 left in the third period of play. Collision down in the corner, battling for it. 1:10 now to go. Picked up by Baldwinsville. Turning. Back pass comes over. Getting into that there is Max Spino. Comes up to the point. Back to Spino. Spino fired that to the middle. Nothing really there for options, so it'll just go down the ice. 50 seconds left in this one. Pass comes up. And we get an offside. John Casey bringing that one in. Officials and all ready to make their way out of here.
Well, just an excellent overall performance by the Bees today, really on all sides, right, of every position here. I think the coach has got to be looking at this. Coach Lloyd's got to be looking at this as saying, hey, we had to come out on fire.
Shot comes in there. Save made. Sorry to cut you off. That was a save by Bice, one of the few he's been forced to make today.
Yeah,
He's
but I
been
mean,
able to step up.
I was just going to say that, you know what I mean, one of the big things is you want to get out of this with a big win, but you also want to keep everybody healthy, right? And it seems here with about 28 seconds left they're going to be able to do that. So, but they've got some big games coming up. This West Jenny team that's going to be coming up at West Jenny is going to be a difficult task, right?
It's sent out of the zone, 23 seconds left. And here comes Baldwinsville into the offensive zone there. That was Daniel Hinman who had the opportunity. 10 seconds left to go in this third period. Comes back to the point. Shot. It's deflected wide. 5 seconds left here in the third period, and that will be it for this one. Baldwinsville takes down Fusion. Final score 9-0. And Brian, certainly a solid performance by the Beast today. Who really stood out in particular?
Well, I think you got to give the nod to McCollum, right? I mean, anytime you can talk about a hat trick on your first game of the season here, I think that's a big win. I think also, even though he didn't see a lot of action, you know what I mean, you got to give it to the goaltender as well for keeping his head on. When you only get a few shots every once in a while, being able to play that and keep your team in for a shutout is an important. This was a good win, a solid win for the team.
Absolutely. Baldwinsville, per my tally, ended up with 59 shots on goal. I don't know if that's accurate or not. There should be the actual shot tally uploaded on the Syracuse.com or Home Teams Online following when whoever took the stats for this game uploads it onto the website. But
yeah,
solid out of the game here for Baldwinsville to open up the season. They win this one 9-0, and I will now update their records on the scoreboard. There we go. But again, Brian, and one of the best parts of high school hockey is hockey is not a huge sport in the area. So you get kids that have known each other pretty much their whole lives, and you can see them all kind of come up and greet with each other, have a little conversation.
Yeah, it is something to say. I mean, hockey is one big family when it comes down to, I mean, you know, these players have been playing with each other since they were mites, right? And so, awesome thing to experience when you see these guys be able to hang out with one another and say, hey, great job out there, competitive. So, great job by the Bees here today on this game, and we look forward to coming back and doing another broadcast of another home game soon.
Yes, with that, we will say farewell here from Three Rivers Athletic Complex. Baldwinsville takes down CNY Fusion. Final score of 9-0. We will see you all next time on KSM Productions, and goodbye.